I've been worrying about the child in your belly, Stacy. Huh? What do you mean? Well, that child is Matt's, and recently, you haven't been paying any attention to me. Paying attention? To you? I've been busy with work lately, and besides, don't mix up that issue with this child. So what if the child is Matt's? The child hasn't done anything wrong, right? I remarried another man while I was pregnant, approaching my due date. My previous husband died in an accident at work. When I couldn't accept the situation, a subordinate of my husband comforted me at the scene, and that led to our marriage. We only registered for marriage, though. If you thought that way in the first place, why did you want to be with me? Don't say such things now. But, when I think about the child in your belly, I just get this unpleasant feeling. You're saying that in front of me. What? Is it your usual attention-seeking behavior kicking in? Stop it. Don't push your feelings onto the child. I haven't forgotten when you proposed, saying, "I will love you," including the child in your belly. I did say that, but still. My current husband, Kevin, is 10 years younger than me and has an attention-seeking personality. When Kevin took care of me while I was down, I thought he was a strong person. However, once we were together, he would suddenly seek attention and always try to be lovey-dovey. Despite knowing the child in my belly was Matt's, Kevin would come to bed every day, get close, and cling to me. Stop it, it's disgusting. Hey, don't do such things when there's a child in my belly. I'll do it properly after giving birth, so please endure it for now. It might be born in a week. My childbirth was imminent. My body was in a state where it wouldn't be strange for me to give birth at any moment, but Kevin kept seeking my attention, which was annoying. Honestly, it was unbearably disgusting. My deceased husband, Matt, had a calm personality, paid attention to the details, and helped with household chores when I was having a tough time, so I felt a strong sense of incongruity with Kevin. No matter if I'm pregnant or in my last month, he would suddenly become sulky and switch to attention-seeking mode if something upset him. Honestly, it was annoying. How old are you again? Do you need that much attention? You're not a child. I don't know if it's because you're 10 years younger than me, but if you keep doing this, I will divorce you. Kevin left the room with a sullen face after my strong rebuke against his persistent pleas for attention. What is he thinking? While I was sighing in disbelief, Kevin forcefully entered the room and pulled my arm. Hey, what are you doing? There's no need to say that much, I didn't think you'd go that far. I'm at my limit. I'll lock someone like you in the basement. The limit is on my side, stop it, let go. Kevin, pulling me forcibly, was slightly teary-eyed. Yet, he desperately pulled my hand towards the basement next to the bedroom. You made me feel like this, stupid woman. Think about what you did. Kevin said that and threw me into the basement. But I could do something about this situation. Because this house was built by me, serving also as an office for work. Therefore, security is installed everywhere, and if I wanted, I could open it from the inside. Kevin, who just got married, didn't know that. I have an annual income of $250 million and am the president of a corporation. And 3 days after I was locked up, the basement door opened. Huh? What did you do? How did you open the lock? The labor pains. Call an ambulance. Seeing me in pain from labor, Kevin got scared and ran away. Is this something someone who claims to love me would do? This incident has made me decide to divorce Kevin, and I've decided to spread the word about his annoying behavior up till now. My name is Stacy, and I'm 39 years old. I run a business with my original brand on the internet. Although it didn't take off at first, gradually my brand became famous and sales skyrocketed, eventually growing into a well-known brand that earns about $250 million a year. My ex-husband was a fan of my brand, always sending me earnest messages from the past. His approach was passionate, not just praising the brand, but eventually even starting to praise the photos of me posted on the website. You're very beautiful. It's true, those who start brands take great care in their appearance and are attractive. Thank you, you're so kind. Such comments are encouraging and motivate me to create better products. I'll treasure them. We had such exchanges through emails. Eventually, my husband's passionate appeals crossed a line, asking me to meet him in a manner that felt almost like stalking. At first, I refused, but I gave in to Matt's persistence and agreed to meet him just once. Thank you for meeting with me. This is just for once. I agreed because of your persistent calling, but there won't be another time. I intended to start with a disclaimer. However, what was supposed to be a light meal turned into an enjoyable conversation with Matt, and we ended up moving to a second location. I'm sorry, I unexpectedly had fun. That's okay. I'm glad you said so much. But this is just for once, right? I also had a great time today. Thank you for creating a wonderful day. I'll continue to support you from the shadows. With those words, Matt left. But then, I found myself increasingly thinking about Matt and couldn't stand it. I found Matt's email address from our previous exchanges and unconsciously wrote him a message. I had a great time the other day. If possible, I'd like to meet you again. Wait. What am I doing? This is bad. He's a fan of my brand. I told myself that and deleted the email without sending it. However, before I knew it, I had written a similar email again and unconsciously hit the send button. Really? Is that okay? What made you change your mind suddenly? The email from Matt brought me back to my senses. I couldn't believe I had sent the email, but part of me was happy. I was going to meet Matt again. The thought filled me with excitement. I'm sorry for the sudden email. I'd like to talk to you again. I felt that if I missed this chance, it would become difficult to meet Matt again. So, I desperately replied, and that led to another opportunity to meet Matt. I'm glad we can meet again. Me too. I became conscious and couldn't look at Matt's face. By then, we had both already fallen for each other. A year later, we happily got married. We were already expecting a child, about 5 months into the pregnancy. Nice to meet you, I'm Kevin, a subordinate of Matt. Matt brought Kevin, his subordinate, home for drinks. See? I told you my wife is beautiful. Matt introduced me like that, apparently bringing me home to prove to Kevin, who must have said something at a drinking party after work, that I am beautiful. Really, she is beautiful. I'm envious. I'm so jealous. Kevin looked at me with eyes that seemed to envy something precious. Matt gets to be spoiled by such a beautiful person, I'm so jealous. Honestly, I should have recognized him as trouble at that time. 4 months after this incident, Matt, who was a construction site supervisor, died in an accident on site. It was a sudden event. You've got to be kidding, why, just when the baby is about to be born, why? I was speechless from the shock of the event. I was so mentally exhausted, I thought I might break down. Are you okay, Stacy? I understand it's tough that Matt suddenly passed away, but you have a child in your belly. It's not okay to give up. If anything happens, I'll protect you and the child in your belly, so. Kevin's words at that time were strong and lifted my depressed spirits. Through my tears, I saw Kevin's figure overlap with Matt's, and I instinctively hugged him. I will protect you. For Matt's sake, I'll take his place and protect you. Kevin's face at that moment was unfamiliar to me, but he must have been serious. That's why I believed his words and decided to register our marriage, and to have a wedding ceremony after the child was born. Right after we got together, Kevin moved into my house. From now on, I will be taking care of you. I understand your feelings, but why come here so soon? What about your apartment, Kevin? I took care of everything today. I didn't own much to begin with, and I'm a minimalist, so everything I have fits in a carry-on bag. Kevin said this as he appeared in front of me, dragging a carry-on bag. I see, if that's the case then it's okay, but what about your room? I have 2 empty rooms, which one will you use? Which one? It's decided, isn't it? Of course, I'll use Stacy's room. Kevin said this and pushed my back, forcibly leading me to my room. Nice room. It's a double bed, so we can sleep together. Wait, are you serious? Isn't it too soon? I don't like it. What are you talking about? We're a married couple, right? There's no problem with sleeping in the same bed. It's not about that. I was put off by Kevin's behavior, which seemed too eager to be intimate with me. There was too much of a gap from when he confessed his feelings. It was as if he was acting on a whim to be pampered, displaying attention-seeking behaviors. Even though he was younger, talking to him felt more like talking to a child than to an adult. Anyway, let's sleep together from today. I won't do anything strange, I'm just worried about you, Stacy. I felt as though Kevin had sweet-talked me, but I agreed. However, that night I learned of Kevin's true nature. The shampoo you use smells nice. I really do like you, Stacy. Kevin said this as he hugged me. Wait a minute. Kevin, you know there's a child in my belly, right? So why would you start acting like that? I told you, such things should wait until after the child is born. What, it's fine, isn't it? It's not like the baby's watching or anything. No. I care about you too, Kevin, but this child is Matt's. It's like a memento of Matt, who was with me until recently. What if something happens and I miscarry, what then? When you put it like that. When faced with strong words, Kevin suddenly turned sulky and looked away. But this was just another of Kevin's attempts to seek attention by playing the victim. At the time, I didn't understand this and just left him alone. Hey. Why aren't you paying attention to me when I'm feeling down? Why won't you comfort me? Suddenly, Kevin woke me up from sleep, crying. What? Why all of a sudden? And why are you crying? Because Stacy, you're not paying attention to me. Before me was Kevin, sulking like a child who hadn't received the attention he wanted. Honestly, I was scared of that sight. What are you saying? You're not a child. Why? We're together now, aren't we? When I'm feeling down, it's Stacy's role to comfort me. So please, comfort me, pat me. I thought, what's with him? It's creepy, acting like an attention seeker at his age. I gave Kevin a wry smile and reluctantly patted his head. However, this action would later backfire. Kevin increasingly sought my attention, rubbing his face on my thigh or suddenly starting to massage my shoulders while I was sitting in a chair working, acting like a perverted sexual harasser boss every day. Hey Kevin. I'm about to give birth soon, and with that coming up, I need to get a certain amount of work done and hand over my duties, or it's going to be tough. I'm sorry, but I can't afford to pay attention to you right now, so please wait a bit. In preparation for my childbirth, I was desperately working to ensure that work continued smoothly during my maternity leave, planning and delegating tasks, giving clear instructions to the staff. Kevin, not knowing that I am the company's CEO and thinking I was doing part-time work, misunderstood and kept clinging to me regardless of what I said. Stop it already. Can't you see I'm busy with work? Please wait a bit longer, my due date is coming up soon, understand that. But Kevin, undeterred by what I said, kept coming at me, seeking attention. The worst part was when he got in a bad mood, he would enter an even more intense attention-seeking mode than before. He wouldn't back down unless I patted him on the head. I'm tired. That's enough, I'm going to sleep first. The stress from dealing with Kevin and the exhaustion from work suddenly weighed down on me, reaching a peak. Feeling weak and heavy, I decided to go to bed without Kevin, worrying about the effect on the baby if I continued working in this state. Can I come to bed with you? Don't follow me. I finally snapped and yelled at Kevin, who was being overly persistent. But that led to the worst outcome. After a while, Kevin entered the bedroom where I was sleeping and sat down on the opposite side of the bed. I've been thinking about what to do about the child in your belly, Stacy. Suddenly being told such things, I wondered what he was talking about. Kevin had promised to make me and the child happy after my former husband, Matt, had passed away, yet suddenly he seemed to have changed his mind entirely. I felt more incredulous than sad. If you thought that way in the first place, why did you want to be with me? Don't start saying such things now. Such words slipped out, and Kevin had been showing jealousy towards the child in my belly or expressing his dislike. But I always thought those words stemmed from his desire for attention, not from his true feelings at heart. Kevin then acted as usual, wanting my attention, and crawled into the bed, starting to touch my body. I had reached my limit. How old are you again? Do you need so much attention? You're not a child. I don't know if it's because you're 10 years younger than me, but if you keep this up, I'm going to divorce you. Kevin left the room silently, apparently hurt by my words. I thought I could finally sleep in peace. But then, the door suddenly opened again, and Kevin grabbed my arm and dragged me into the basement next to our room. What are you doing? You made me feel like this, stupid woman. Reflect on it here. Kevin said this and locked the door, making it impossible for me to leave the basement. However, this basement was more like an intermediate space connected to another nuclear shelter, so being locked in here wasn't much of an issue. Kevin didn't know that. I had built the basement with a double structure as a precaution in case the house collapsed due to a disaster. The lock on the basement door could also be opened from the inside. But to do that, I had to go down to the shelter once. So, I decided to go down to the shelter to retrieve the keys. It's already midnight. I shouldn't strain myself for the baby's sake, I'll just sleep for now. I decided to sleep in the bed set up in the shelter and spent the night there. The next day, I came up with a good idea. This is a good opportunity to scare Kevin, that ultimate attention seeker. It looks like I still have time before the due date, and staying here for 2 or 3 days won't be a problem. I have an emergency computer here, so I can work from here. Yeah, I'll do that. I decided to carry out a plan to scare Kevin. However, I never imagined that this choice would lead to a sad outcome. Still, it's a fact that this served as a punishment for Kevin, who was overly attention-seeking. I managed to discipline him. For 3 days, I stayed in the shelter. Kevin didn't interfere with me during that time, and it was quiet. Damn, what's wrong with him? I thought he would worry and check on me after a day. The monotony continued. Then, 3 days later, labor pains started unexpectedly. It was earlier than expected. No. It's too early for labor pains, isn't it? It's not time yet, you're supposed to be born in about 5 more days. Enduring the pain of labor, I crawled to the door, grabbed the key, opened it, and fell to the floor as I swung the door open. The loud noise alerted Kevin, who then saw the scene and his face went pale. My water had already broken, and a large amount of amniotic fluid was flowing on the floor. Huh? What did you do? How did you open the lock? I'm in labor. Call an ambulance. The scene was chaotic. Then, hearing the commotion, an unknown woman emerged from the back room, shocked at the sight of me, and screamed. What? Are you okay? Idiot, why are you coming out? Just run away, hurry. But we can't just leave her in this state, we have to call an ambulance fast. It's okay, just hurry up, we have to run. Kevin tried to flee the scene by forcefully pulling the woman's hand. However, she shook him off and approached me. Are you okay? I'm calling an ambulance right now. You. Do whatever you want. Kevin left us and ran away. After that, I was taken to the hospital by ambulance, where I gave birth. Just when I thought my child had finally been born, the baby passed away shortly after birth. The sudden stress on my body and the complications following the water breaking seemed to be the cause. It was devastating. I'm sorry, I couldn't be of more help. It's okay, I'm grateful you called the ambulance. By the way, what exactly is your relationship with Kevin? I was hit on by Kevin the day before I met you. He said this was his house and invited me over. What was he thinking? He boasted about picking up various people and having fun. So, probably. I see. Did Kevin do anything strange to you? He was really clingy when I was sleeping. It was so uncomfortable that I was planning to leave first thing the next day, and then you were. I see, so he turns into an attention seeker with any woman. Are you okay? Should I call someone? Hey, can I ask you for a favor? I decided to take revenge on Kevin. Not only for being locked in the basement, but because that incident led to the loss of the life that was supposed to come into this world. I couldn't give birth to the child of Matt, the man I loved the most. I want to take revenge. It's Kevin's fault that the child died. He let the child of the person I cherished die, and I can't forgive that, so please, help me. With tears welling up in my eyes, I said this to her. Seeing my serious gaze, she was taken aback at first, but then showed a look of determination to join me in my revenge. Okay, I'm in. A man who leaves a pregnant woman and runs away is an enemy of all women. Let's thoroughly punish him. Thank you, really, thank you. By the way, my name is Stacy, what's yours? I'm Jessica. We swore to each other to take revenge. After exchanging names and messenger contacts, a shocking truth came to light as we kept in touch. Kevin was a person who habitually picked up various women and bragged about his affairs. Even after marrying me, he continued this behavior, always seeking attention from numerous women. According to Jessica's research, there were about 20 victims, including one of Kevin's coworkers. Jessica, you're amazing. Thanks for gathering all this information. I'm good at this kind of thing, actually, I'm a professional detective. What? I didn't know that. My mother always ended up with men who cheated. After seeing that over and over, I couldn't stand those kinds of men. I looked into how I could make a difference, and that's how I ended up being a detective. Unexpected. You look so gentle, but being a detective is so cool. I was surprised that my ally, whom I met by chance, was a detective, but it was reassuring. Moreover, her network of information helped us locate Kevin's coworker, fueling the fire of revenge even more. Since that day, Kevin hasn't returned home. He probably found it awkward after being caught cheating and couldn't come back. How low can he get? Hey, can we contact that coworker? I've got a great idea. A great idea? Let's spread the word in his company about Kevin's true nature as an attention seeker and a cheat. And about me, about the baby. Unfortunately, I don't think we can claim compensation. It's dubious whether Kevin's actions directly relate to what happened to your baby. It's fine, even if we can't get compensation. I hate him enough to want him kicked out of the company. If he had even the slightest involvement in our child's death, I will fight until Kevin gets fired from that company. Perhaps feeling the resentment within me, Jessica momentarily held her breath. She must have understood the depth of my grudge against Kevin. It's easy to make contact, so let me see what I can do. Things progressed rapidly from there. After Jessica got in touch with a coworker and explained the situation, it came to light that Kevin had been engaging in behavior bordering on sexual harassment, such as touching her butt and rubbing his face against hers, even though they weren't dating. We used this information to corner Kevin. A few days later, I received a call. Hello? It's me. Sorry, I haven't come home. I have a favor to ask, can I come back home? Oh, what happened? Anything wrong? I responded to Kevin's words with an oblivious tone. Well, suddenly the situation has changed. What situation? Just. After leaving me that time, you have the nerve to try and come back home because of your situation? I know, you got fired from your job because of the sexual harassment scandal, didn't you? Huh? How do you know about that? I know everything, about how you've been picking up women and messing around with them. Well, that. Kevin started to falter, realizing that everything he had done was out in the open. That doesn't matter now. What about the baby? Attempting to divert the situation, he blurted out those words, which hit me in the most painful spot, popping like a cork from a champagne bottle inside my heart. My anger exploded in that instant. The child is no longer here. What? The child isn't here anymore. He was born but passed away soon after. Why? Stress. Excessive stress affected the fetus, and the delay in treatment after my water broke. That. Apparently, hearing this situation, Kevin could find no more words to say. More than awkwardness, I could sense his feeling of guilt. I think it's better if we divorce. So, it comes to that? Of course. I can't be with you. Don't come back home. I'm sorry. It's too late to apologize now. I trusted you, even when you kept being clingy. I forgave you because I thought you had a kind heart. You're the worst. Tears that I couldn't hold back anymore started to flow like a waterfall, and the warmth from them stimulated my nose, causing my snot to flow as well. I was sobbing over the phone. Kevin silently listened to my breakdown. After I had calmed down a bit, I was about to hang up when I heard a muffled voice through the phone. I'm sorry, it was my fault. Can't you forgive me? I pressed the phone closer to my ear, and that's what I heard. His voice was weak, filled with regret, and it sounded like he was crying. That's how Kevin spoke. I'm sorry, it's impossible. Anyway, let's discuss the divorce later at some cafe. I'll properly contact you through Messenger. I said that and hung up the phone. After that, I contacted Kevin and arranged to meet at a cafe near the station. Unaware that this day would turn into my biggest nightmare, he casually showed up at the cafe. I'm in front of the cafe, where are you now? I'm inside, come in. I was already inside and had prompted Kevin over the phone to come in. And then. Huh? What? Long time no see. It's not long time no see. What's all this people doing here? They are the people you cheated on and were involved with. I deliberately responded cheerfully. I know, I remember all their faces. There were about 7 of them there. All of them were glaring at Kevin with cold eyes, intimidating him. Well, everyone seems to be doing well. That seemed to be his forced attempt at breaking the ice, but everyone sighed in response. Taking that as my cue, I confronted Kevin. Sit down and write this divorce paper, right here. I said that and pushed the divorce papers in front of Kevin. A staff member was standing a bit away from our table, probably deciding not to approach due to the oppressive atmosphere at our table, and was fumbling there. I get that, but why are they here? Everyone gathered here after hearing about my situation. They all dislike your character. No, what? Listen carefully to what they all have to say. Then, Kevin was bombarded with words from everyone, shrinking more and more. Anyone would shrink in such a situation in a public place. I wanted to make Kevin feel humiliated and mentally cornered. Just like how Kevin mentally cornered me with his neediness. I wanted him to experience how painful it is to be on the receiving end. How do you feel now? It's awful, obviously. Why are you doing this? Isn't this exactly what you did to me? What are you talking about? Cut it out. Kevin became irritated with the situation and raised his voice a bit. I'm the one who wants you to cut it out. What did you come here for today? Did you think you were just going to sign the divorce papers? Before that, there's something more important, isn't there? You haven't forgotten about our child dying, right? The child of Matt, the boss you respected, the child Matt loved and created with me. You're as good as responsible for that child's death. Apologize, kneel down here and apologize. To Matt and our child. Overwhelmed by my forcefulness, Kevin was momentarily taken aback but became serious when I mentioned our child and Matt, and he knelt down. I'm sorry, truly sorry. I'm sorry for everything, especially about that. I'll apologize to Stacy. I'll properly go through with the divorce. I'm sorry for everything I did, driven by my feelings. Please, forgive me. And please, Matt too, forgive me. As Kevin apologized, his face turned paler, and he started sweating profusely. I wondered what was wrong, but it seemed like his earlier irritation had dissipated, and he sincerely signed the divorce papers, apologizing repeatedly before leaving the cafe. That was the end of my revenge, or so I thought. After the divorce was finalized, Kevin came to the house to pack up his remaining belongings. "You look worn out?" Recently, Matt has been appearing in my dreams. "I've been having nightmares." "Appearing in your dreams?" "I see." Hearing Kevin's words, I thought that if Matt knew what Kevin had done, he would surely hold a grudge. It's no wonder he was having nightmares. Afterward, Kevin moved into a new place and started looking for full-time work while doing part-time jobs. Jessica, the detective, gave me this information. By the way, when Jessica investigated Kevin, she insisted on not taking any money for it. However, since she went out of her way to investigate during her work, I felt it was wrong not to pay her, so I ended up paying about $10,000. Whether that was the right amount, I'm not sure, but that incident made Jessica and I good friends, and we occasionally met for tea. Moreover, several of the women we met at the cafe turned out to be fans of my brand, leading to an unexpected connection. Now, they've become trusted friends, and we sometimes have drinking parties together. This incident, where Kevin's life changed drastically from mine, made me realize that doing bad things doesn't pay off. Friends connected through the brand I created, and then a boyfriend introduced by those friends, who also happens to like my brand. I want to be with this person, who reminds me of Matt.